following podcast is brought to you exclusively by the Rad Rob Radio Network.
This is PBA champion Kyle Troop, and you're listening to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. As you know, JP Jr. used to be introduced as the sexiest man in bowling, and now the world. But he doesn't have the best hair in the world. I do. Sorry, bud, but you know the deal. Pick it out. Fear the fro, baby.
Welcome to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. A hard-hitting, in-depth, cutting-edge look into the world of bowling. This podcast will not only cover all things bowling, but will also give you a raw look into real-life issues. You'll get unfettered access into the mind of one of the most gifted bowlers of this or any other generation. So without further ado, let's introduce you to the hosts of the show. Rad Rob Francois. Rad Rob Francois. Dr. Ocho. And the incomparable Johnny Petraglia Jr. Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Hey guys, welcome back to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. I'm your host, Rad Rob Francois, joined by my co-host, one and only Dr. Ocho. Good evening, sir.
TaylorMade, huh? You got a new R580? Okay, that club is about 15 years old. I just dated myself with how late the amply go.
Stealth 2 or whatever the hell it is. I don't
Right,
know.
the Stealth 48.
It was on Amazon. It was cheap.
The clubs or the hat?
Both.
Thank you.
What's going on?
Just go. Hurry up.
Also joining us is the third man of the team. He is the man with the name on the marquee. He is number 07 in your program, number one in your hearts, the sexiest man in bowling and the world, but not the sexiest hair, which maybe he just needs to grow a fro. Did you see Ocho?
He would look good with a fro.
He would look good. He'd look good with anything.
Oh, he'd pull it. He could pull it off. He could pull off a freaking fro hawk, a mofro,
Mofro.
a freaking froyo.
You're a mofro. Troop cut his mohawk there for the PBA finals. I don't know his mohawk.
No?
Jesus Christ. He cut his fro, Joe.
What?
Bro. Yeah, he did.
Does he still have the pick gimmick then, or no? Or is it like did he
took
have
it
like
out, but then he had nothing to pick it with?
Like he's got short hair?
It's not short. I mean, it's like
He's just an
a
average
quarter
hair
fro.
person now.
Yeah, he is. Well, I mean, he used to tie it back for qualifying and stuff, but to me, it looked like he cut it off. Johnny, did you realize that too? Did Troop?
Oh, hey guys, how are you?
Hey, Johnny, I
Why
forgot
did
you
you
were
invite him in?
It was about as long of an intro for me as Apollo Creed got in Rocky 3.
That's fair.
was
Troop
Rocky
did cut his
4,
fro, right? I
actually.
wasn't seeing things.
I don't know if he necessarily cut it. He may have shortened it, but he didn't pick it out. So
He did not pick it
yeah,
up.
like I would assume he got out of the shower and threw some gel in there and just didn't throw it and use a hair dryer.
True.
But-
Maybe it just looks like that normally.
Yeah, I mean, So what's up to everybody that's already here in the chat? And good to see you boys.
Hey, why didn't Apollo get a rematch with Rocky when they were tied?
He
And
did.
not only that,
was
Rocky
too.
Apollo, yeah, he got but they were tied. They should have been. Where's the rubber match? Think about this: they split the first
Oh, I
match,
see what you're saying.
and then Apollo was up freaking 13 rounds to 2 and gets knocked out in the freaking with a few seconds left. So like Apollo's up freaking 38 to freaking 5 in rounds and doesn't get a rematch, and then freaking Mickey starts handpicking. That's why Rocky Balboa was a bum. You heard it here. He's a straight up bum from the streets.
I will never agree with that. I'll never
Bad
agree
start
with
to
that.
the show.
We need to do a Rocky show.
Well, it was Rocky 4 that he got all the nicknames in. The Count of Monte Fisto,
What's up, Ian?
the
Ian,
Master of
Crambone,
Disaster,
Pico,
Roscoe Pico,
Journey.
You got enough names?
What's up, guys? Hello, everybody.
Patience, Stallion, patience.
So tonight we're gonna be doing something different since bowling is kind of on the down low, the low down.
Cool.
Match of the week: the finals from the 1989 ARC Pinole Open. Ernie Schlegel versus Dave D'Entremont. And the real treat for this one is the fact that it's a satellite feed. And the power went out for 15 minutes, and you can hear Bo and Chris Schenkel with a live mic, so it's kind of funny.
Oh, is that the one?
That's the one. That's the one.
But did they know or they didn't know?
Oh no, I mean they knew. Like the mic is always live. You just don't see it because
It's hot then, right? It's hot. It's not.
Right.
I got you because I remember texting you that. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Jeff Skiers. Don't pick on Rocky, Ocho. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
he's got 25 losses and they make a statue out of the guy. Are you shitting me?
Hey, it's his contributions to society.
What did he do? He got handpicked fighters. He beat up the German national freaking champion of.
How could you be shitting on a full-blooded East Coast Italian legend in cinema right now?
Who beat the master of disaster? Come on, man.
He beat him freaking. Beat him by once. Remember Apollo? One second. It's very hard for a man of my intelligence to handle. Why didn't he get a freaking rematch and then freaking tool on him? Rocky would have been gone, and it would have been called. We would have had Creed, whatever, freaking 30 years ago instead of now.
Apollo couldn't beat Dolph Lundgren with Drago.
So, well, that's because he got older then. But had he done,
he wasn't that much older. It was like what, a year and a half?
No, it's weird. Like between Rocky 3 and Rocky 4, it was only a few years, but like they made it like it was 30 years later, and he was like, "Well, I'm old."
Well, in what was it? In Rocky 2. Well, the kid aged like 9 years.
So remember, in Rocky 2, they got married, and in Rocky 4, he says after 9 years,
and then in Rocky 5, he's in high school.
The kid's he's a stockbroker.
Lang wasn't a pushover. I'm just saying.
And that was his Rocky 4. Is that the one that died?
So real quick, we're introducing the match of the week this week. Are we watching the whole show? And what made you select this one, Red Rob?
Well, I thought it was cool because of the satellite feed where you get to hear Bo and Chris kind of talk behind the scenes, and it was the first power outage in PBA history on TV, which was kind of cool to watch. Everybody scramble like with the announcers.
But they also
Harry Golden.
They talked a lot of technical stuff, not so much bowling stuff too, which is kind of wild. It's just that's what made me realize it. I was like, and you hear him like saying "feed me in" or something. It's wild.
And Chris had to catch a flight too, and it was fucked up because they only have 90 minutes on air, and since there's a power delay or a power outage, which led to a 15-minute delay, they couldn't show the final match in its entirety. So you're watching the entire show, then all of a sudden you're like, "What do you mean I can't watch it?" Because Wide World of Sports had to come on, and so they would cut in from Wide World every like 15 minutes or so. And update everybody, but we get to watch the entire match that the home crowd didn't see because
this was like original Cosmic Bowling, basically. Is that what
pretty much? It's bowling with minimal commentary. So, just something different. I thought it'd be cool for everybody to see that may not have seen it.
Question answered.
There you go. So if you guys are ready, I already have it queued up here. We're gonna start with the.
Is Johnny gonna be able to see it
with the power outage?
Probably not.
He'll be able to see it.
Hey, I can see
larger.
it.
Now, this is one of those times when we appreciate the efforts of Thomas Edison, because you can see more than half of this bowling establishment, Pinole Valley Lanes in California, is without its usual lighting effects. So we have a halt in play here. We're hoping, Bo, to get a determination from our tournament director from the very beginning. Harry Golden, who is checking with the technicians here. It has to do with
everybody's still with the Rocky comments. I love it.
With us,
there's
a good idea, Harry. And this is one of those.
There's tournament director Harry Golding.
Harry
Golding freaking out.
The tournament director.
Well, it's unusual to say the least. In all the years I have been around professional bowling, I've been a member of the PBA since 1960. We do have rules to cover disasters. In other words, they would continue on with the match game at a different point in a different bowling center, but not a power out.
Looking dapper as always.
In a championship round.
Crazy as ever. Look at young Ron Williams.
It is right now stands with Williams 4 strikes and a spare, leads Schlegel by 7 pins.
With the stoppage in play and electricity, which player will it have?
No, while we're getting
PBA
going
rule
here,
says that if you're delayed
recently
by more
when I
than
swung over to Samstown to watch the senior Masters, we were up in the casino. I was up there with Jacob Buttriff, and all the lights in Samstown went out. Everything went out for about 2 minutes. And that's the first time I've ever seen a blackout in a casino. A full fucking blown blackout at Sands.
Yeah, I mean, that's weird. Yeah.
Would have thought there'd have been more people scrambling for chips and shit.
Right?
Well, it's not
Yeah.
so bad, Chris. I think it's interesting. We said at the top.
They don't have backup generators at these places. I would feel like they're probably like those full-blown gimmicks or something.
And of course,
For that reason, for like panic and terror of people stealing chips and grabbing the blackjack table, or like.
Right. Yeah. You would think.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, Chuck. That's what we're talking about. Is that one little 5-minute stretch upstairs where all the lights went out, and apparently nobody in the bowling alley was affected. I was right in the heart of where it
The
happened.
only saving grace of this particular moment, I must say, is the fact that we better all appreciate electricity a little more.
Could you imagine making your first TV show and you're bowling and the lights go out?
Without it here,
As if you weren't nervous enough.
It's almost, and you probably had so many weird things happen to you in your lifetime that you'd go, you know what? This is just me. This is, of course, me. Of course, my only time. Of
Right.
course.
local stations.
How you doing, Lou?
I told you at the top of the show that we started out in black and white television 28
It's a shame it's such a choppy video.
We have a power outage here.
I think
in
it's
Pinole
my
Valley,
California.
California.
Oh, that's you, Rob? You freak.
Without
Oh, man.
electricity. The lighting that you see is our ABC generator.
It's because Rocky's peddling the damn internet. That's why he's freaking gassing already. Apollo would have it good.
It's fair. It's fair. I have too much
The
going
light
on.
that you see. This has gone on for
Yeah,
some
maybe
time.
we'll
Meanwhile,
revisit the idea.
Ron Williams and Ernie Schlegel are just biding their time. We're in our third match.
Or do you want to maybe skip a little bit, Rob? Like move it up a little bit, just
leading
a
by
teensy?
7 pins. Let's now join Frank Gifford.
Or
thank you.
that doesn't look like Frank Gifford.
Going
Double D.
I want to hear the.
Guarantee he's throwing
So
a
here's the
trap.
explanation that they
Look at those scores of a match that was.
they can't show the final match because of the outage. What if
Who was the guy that was? Oh, it was the third
Great
match.
show.
With 10 strikes.
Yeah, so we were watching the semifinal match with Ron Williams. Well, that's where they got cut off at least.
Did that say Roan the third, or was that like the thing was skewed? It looked like an R. That's what threw me off. So Parker
No,
lost
it's
to Ernie, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Is he wearing blue blockers?
The fuck are blue blockers?
They were like in the early 90s or late 80s, these like sunblock type freaking glasses that as soon as you put them on, you go like this.
Ernie always wore something strange. He always wore something. He used to wear breathing strips on his nose. Like a
You
football
got
player.
to. That makes sense. The blue blockers I don't get because they're not even cool. They're like full on nerdy.
Yeah, Ernie
have
was
the breathing
always
strips back in the
colorful.
day?
He always got dressed. Rob, maybe we skip this
Chuck
idea.
knows.
Huh?
Match is going, and of course the eventual winner. But
Well, I think we're just trying to get the explanation real quick, and then we'll get on it.
Tremont, a non-winner.
Good hint, though,
tournament leader,
JP.
Finishing his warm-up shots.
Very subtle.
Ernie Schlegel has won 3 games.
Well, I think Schlegel has the upper hand. He's bowling sensational.
I think it's gonna be a problem.
Can we get copyrighted?
Championship round before.
I mean, it's been on YouTube for like 15 years, so
That doesn't matter. Well, it's not music, I guess. That's true.
I don't
The
think
upper
the PBA
hand goes
cares.
to Schlegel, Chris, and as you said, we'll keep everybody updated.
You gotta love that mustache.
Yeah, look how lean he was back in '89, man.
You can almost see his balls in those pants.
Hey, can't make fun of the late great Dave DeAndre.
No, it's the pants, really. It's not him. It's
Oh yeah, I mean honestly, I would wear that outfit out tonight if I can get my hands on it.
It's the pleats. I'm taking it back to the pants store.
It's actually an optical illusion. It's the pattern of pants.
Dude, I had like 15 of those Lamode shirts. Like everybody wore those Lamode shirts back then.
They're still in style. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, they were great shirts.
All right, here we go.
So now we're gonna get the match without commentary until they break in from Worldwide.
So why don't we do it? Schlegel with a 2-board break and Barry DePox ring and
And
tag.
on the
And,
speedometer, that took about what? How long to get down the road?
and what a great break. Kicked out the 6-pin. Because that's what they do on commentary. all
Rob,
the
I
time.
think we're gonna have to abort this idea. It's a good idea, but let's revisit it, please. It's so bored.
Yeah.
let's talk about bowling. It's a good idea, but yeah, the fact of the matter is it's the only time we've ever had a power outage on the PBA tour that actually ceased the bowling. And it's an interesting one to find. I've watched that show a million times over, just like everything else from that era. So it was.
You mean like it didn't skip every time like this one did?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the issue is. If it's restream,
bandwidth, Rob, bandwidth, man.
I mean,
he does enough. It's okay if that's not working right now. Yeah. But first, let's at least talk a little bit about bowling. I was watching Bowl TV earlier, and I feel like the guy that won today, I don't give enough credit to. I mean, obviously, I give the guy credit, but we don't talk about him enough on this show because we're always so tied up in what's currently going on. And for some reason, I feel like we just don't talk about this guy a lot. So congratulations to Walter Ray Williams Jr., if not the greatest bowler that's ever lived.
Ain't that funny? He's pretty much he's the top 2 at worst.
Yeah, I mean, he is still the greatest of all time. It's just a matter of basically if Belmo ever catches him.
Right. And it's funny. When the way you said that, I didn't know there was a Walter Ray thing coming up, and I'm like, it's got to be because we really don't ever talk about him.
We don't.
It's almost like understood.
Yeah, like we're not saying that like we underappreciate Walter, but Walter just does everything the right way, and like. There's nothing really super exciting about it. It's just awesome. That's a given. That's a given. So, yeah, my kudos I wanted to send out to Walter Ray for bowling 830 in his opening match against Pete McCordick, which was awesome to watch. And then
Pete McCordick still bowls?
Yeah, and then he ran the ladder on a really, really nice field. A couple extra shout-outs to longtime friends from back home, the DeSantis family, Johnny DeSantis making the show. Bo Gergen, another good friend, back on the health kick, had thrown kudos to his trainer and fellow bowler, Anthony Moses, for getting him back into playing shape. So I want to give those some guys shout-outs. Lenny Borish, another fantastic performance, finishing second again. I think it's his 3rd show this year. So, yeah, it was just a really, really nice tournament win. But what I'm sitting here saying is the reason I feel like I don't give Walter Ray enough kudos, and, like, I'm always talking about, like, I always thought P. Weber was the best talent because he won 10 titles, plastic, urethane, and resin. And I'm always figuring out different reasons why I love different bowlers. But what's special about Walter Ray is also what makes him kind of a strange bird, which makes him colorful. He is like so factual and to the point. Like he'll crack his own jokes, but he's always aware of numbers and situations. I mean, he's a magician when it comes to that stuff. He went to Cal Poly, for Christ's sake. So he gets done winning the championship, and Dave Lamont has got him in the post interview. And he looks over at John Weber and then turns to Walter and says, so Walter, we've confirmed that this is your 122nd PBA win. Now, right then and there, I'm already saying to myself, 122 PBA wins. I've never made a PBA telecast. This guy's got 122 wins. And what does Walter say to Dave Lamont? Dave Lamont actually says to him, did you know that? Do you still keep count? And he goes, I actually think that's a little low. I think it's 125. That was Walter's response. So I think, like I said, we all know Walter's a little bit like that, but in the same respect, he's like 125 victories, man. And he's been out there just kicking ass since the mid 80s. And he looked great. He ran a ladder. He had to make ball changes. He wasn't playing straight up 5 like we're used to. He was hooking the new teal rhino. It was really, really fun to watch. And I wanted to give a shout out to Walter for still fucking winning and just keeps on winning. It's awesome.
How old is Walter? 58? 50?
Yeah. No, he's got to be over 60 because this was the super senior.
Oh, right. That's right. So because I remember your dad doing it. Oh my God. You know what? Time really does fly because they had your dad doing an interview, and I really think it was
What's up, JB?
2011-ish or something like that, and it was right when Parker and Walter and Norm were about to get to the senior tour, right around that point. And your dad had had a crazy good tournament, like broke records probably. Maybe it was a Villages or something like that. And,
the Senior US Open.
And they said, but I might be wrong on the year though too. But I know they were just coming out, or maybe they were just out for. And he's like, and there was an interview on a PBA show, and they were talking to your dad about it, and they're like, so is it exciting, having these new guys out here or coming out here? He's He's like, exciting. He's like, they're going to cash every week, having Walter and Norm and Parker. Like, these guys are so good. They're so, and they're in their prime, it seems. On the
I was gonna say, and that's what Dad always used to say, is you got to remember, my dad is spotting these guys 15 years. So when Walter, Parker, Duke, and Pete all came out on the tour, my dad was already 63, 64.
And he had to deal with them with the 15-year gimmick on the PBA tour.
And anybody that's been through it, I'm already experiencing it being almost 40, but anybody who has ever bowled that long, your body goes through certain transitions as you age. And Dad has flat out said, most guys, everybody peaks at it or like learns that they can't play the game that they once used to be able to play anymore. And it usually peaks for guys anywhere in a range of 62 to 68 years old. It's somewhere in there. He said he got lucky enough. He made it to about 72, where he thought he was actually still competitive when he would go bowl selective tournaments that he would bowl in. But so like to go out there and know not only that you're in your mid 60s, but now you're bowling 3 of the greatest bowlers that have ever lived, and you're giving them 15 years because they're only 50. They're nowhere near the time where it's like, hey, do I hang it up? Do I quit now? It's an extreme disadvantage. So yeah, like you said, and as the years progress, I mean, Jesus, guys, think about this. I'm just throwing this out there. When you look at Bill O'Neill, does Bill O'Neill look like he's in his mid 40s?
So, dude, you just read my mind. You just read my mind.
Can you imagine what it's going to look like when
going to be out there soon?
Wes Malott, Tommy Jones. Like, I mean, these guys ain't that far from the senior tour. It's going to be continually because as each generation progresses, it seems like people stay younger for longer.
I was just going to say the seniors looked like seniors 30 years ago, and now it seems like, again, you mentioned John Handegard, the guy he's had the big kyphosis, and he was great. Guy can still freaking shoot, but he looked the part though. He looked when you went, you're like, okay, this is senior bowling.
John Handegard and Gene Stuss looked like guys in their mid 50s.
I saw him throw a 300 on TV. Well, on classic bowling, not recent. I mean, it was only a few years ago I saw it, but yeah, exactly. I'm surprised I knew that name. Thank you.
Yeah, Jeff. My dad is signed up for the TSC in Lakeland. I believe it's his namesake tournament. I think they named it the Johnny Petraglia Tournament of Champions this year, which is pretty cool. And depending on my work schedule, there's a moderate chance that I will be there this year, which would be awesome. And so anyway, I just wanted to say, Chuck, another great example. But Amleto, everybody, it's no secret why Amleto and guys like Amleto and Ron Moore look like they do. They dedicate their lives to health and nutrition. John DeSantis, we just mentioned him earlier. There's another guy. Those are guys that have gotten out of their way to make sure they maintain their hearts, their insides and their outsides. And it shows why they can continue to perform at such a high level. It's no secret that your body is the most important tool that you use in anything. And if it's not finely tuned, there's, and contrary to popular belief, like I love 80s hair bands, but those guys weren't chain smoking cigarettes before the show. Those guys were drinking drops of honey mixed in with something herbal for their throats. They were getting themselves ready to go perform for 2 hours on stage. It's the celebration can come afterwards, but it's no secret. That's exactly why they're as good as they are at the age they are. Tom Baker was the same way. He was another guy who always was in tip-top condition, and he lasted well into his mid-60s, late 60s, as far as being competitive. What's up, Johnny? Good to see you back, man. We missed you.
Apparently, I'm having a million technical difficulties because I can't even get the chat to work on the screen now. I don't know what's going on with my computer, but
we can see it up on the. It's not on. Oh, Rob.
Yeah.
Oh, Rob.
So they can comment to us, but we can't see it.
No, we can see it. Well, yeah, right.
On the side,
we can see it on our side. They can't see it. I'm guessing is what he means because it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So fun times. I mean, Johnny's right. You have to keep your body in peak shape. So I eat too much Popeyes, therefore I don't bowl anymore because it just.
I'm not sure if it's just too much Popeyes. I mean,
it's Popeye.
That's defamation to Popeyes, really. I mean, if we really,
it's a combination of everything. I mean, it's the Papa John's, it's the McDonald's, the Taco Bell. Yeah, I mean, I'm just using Popeyes as an example.
Are you the real life Cartman? Is that what's happening right now?
I'm going to say this to you because you already know this, you weirdo. It's all about your brain. It's the first 3 weeks are the hardest. You've done it already if you wanted to. And just remember, it doesn't matter what you eat or what you don't eat. If you're trying to lose weight, you just have to put yourself in a caloric deficit. That's all you have to do.
That's true.
You don't even have to fucking walk 10,000 steps if you want to lose weight. You just have to be in a caloric deficit. Period.
Yep.
And for as much as you sweat, Rob, that should be easy to do.
You think it would be, right?
I should be 130 pounds with as much as I sweat. So I feel you on that one. I'm a fat kid at heart. Well, I'm a fat kid too. That's the other thing.
Good to have Johnny Sperone back in the house.
Yes.
He had a wake last week. Unfortunate to deal. Cancer sucks, man. We've all had too many people lost to cancer. It's just
condolences to the entire family and to your friend John. It's very, very sad and sorry to hear.
Explain further, James.
This is we do tackle life issues.
Explain further as far as what?
Caloric deficit, I think he's talking about, whereas calories burned versus calories ingested.
Yeah.
And do all that.
My best friend is here.
Basically, if
liking good food.
It's not for liking it; it's for the overindulgence of it. Sorry, I didn't mean that. That was Ocho saying it.
If you know your body's macros, if you know, in other words, how much protein and how many carbs and how many fats you need on a daily basis and a certain number of calories. So let's say I'm 6 feet, 230 pounds. If I plan on losing weight, my particular macros call for 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So I eat approximately 250 grams of protein a day when I want to put myself into a surplus.
That's the old Dr. Squat method too, man. Hell yeah.
Exactly.
That's the old routine. Fucking ain't right.
Yeah, and it usually comes out to approximately 2,800 to 3,500 calories a day. Probably 30 or
and
less
usually
grams
it's
of that
3 or
is
4
fat.
hours too. That's when you assimilate protein. That's its most efficient too.
Yeah,
you don't want,
I can
you
give
don't
you
have
that
80 grams or 90 grams at once. You have your 40. You have your 40. You have your 40. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's why you'll see guys that they'll say I eat 8 times a day. Yeah, you eat 8 times a day because you're eating every 2 hours. But that's for the serious guys. But as far as the deficit is, for instance, like first of all, contrary to what a lot of people believe is if you're trying to lose weight, the best way to lose weight if you're in the gym is to weight lift over doing cardio. Because if you want to maintain shape and you do too much, the problem with cardio is the more cardio you do, the more cardio you have to do. And if you're on a treadmill,
your cortisol levels too, unfortunately, which is a fat restoration. So
exactly. If you're on a, let's say you're the kind of person that, okay, I'm going to go to the gym today and I'm going to stop and I'm going to eat an energy bar. So let's say you pick up a Metrex bar or a Cliff bar at the gas station. So now you're ingesting 300 calories, 45 grams of carbohydrates. I don't even know how much protein is in them. Let's say there's 20 grams. Now you go walk on a stair stepper for 45 minutes. You have just burned off that bar that you ate.
Right.
Maybe not
That's
even,
it.
unfortunately.
Maybe not even. That's the only, so you have if you'd have just not bought the bar, you didn't have to go to the gym. So it's something as simple as that. So if you typically eat 2,000 calories a day, eat 1,500 calories a day, and replace everything liquid with water. If you want to have coffee in the morning, drink it black, but drink water. You can drink Crystal Light if you need to change the flavor of the water. But basically that's it. So if you want to go indulge in McDonald's at 2:00 in the afternoon and have a Big Mac meal with a Pepsi, go right ahead and do it. Just know that you've met your caloric number for the day. So that's when it comes to people saying, I want a cheat meal or I want to do this in this spot instead of here. But the main thing is the combination of a little bit of weight training, which burns more calories than being on the treadmill, plus adds mass, strength.
You're burning calories 24/7. When you wake up sore, your body was working overtime to try and repair that muscle that you did. And real quick, a balanced calorie, remember people, it's not specific to individuals. A balanced calorie is 9 grams of fat, 4 grams of protein, 4 grams of carbs. That's a balanced calorie. So what your macros are, like for JP, he wants a gram and a half of protein per body weight. And that's why he's having 50, 60 grams of protein every 3 hours. His body can assimilate that. He's 220 pounds. I don't know, what are you, 220-ish?
I'm about 220 now, yeah.
I was way off. So no, but but I mean, if you're 140 pounds, don't ingest 280 grams of protein through the day. That's why it's meant for whatever you're. So the balanced calories to start, you dial it into what your body says, and then you sometimes maybe get lucky.
Exactly.
And get these.
And what Ocho's talking about, just to close it, I don't want to get into a full fitness.
Hey, we talk about life issues, man.
But all right then, yeah. What the hell was I going to say there?
Caloric deficiency still.
Yeah, I know, but I had one thought there that just skipped my brain. You know me. I always lose that shit. It's okay.
See us next week on Straight Up 5, and he will tell you.
Oh, I guess what I was gonna say is I was gonna give you like typically what I would eat when I'm in a deficit compared to a surplus. Just I'll give you my two conflicting meal plans here, James. Because James, honestly, if you're still here and we're still listening, I think you and I are about the same weight. I don't really think James is much larger than me. So this could actually be a good building block for you. When I want to gain muscle, when I want to add muscle in the gym, keep in mind, I have a very, very, very vigorous training routine, and I have for 4 years. So even when I'm off of it, my body maintains what it remembers. It's kind of like the whole remembering how to ride a bike thing. But when I want to gain weight that I can transform into muscle, when I wake up, I eat 3 eggs, 2 slices of toast, 4 strips of bacon, and a pack of steel-cut oatmeal. That's my breakfast. That's usually around 7 a.m. At 9:30 a.m., I have a 2-scoop isolate protein shake in almond milk. So that's another.
And that's a whey protein, right? You're talking?
Yeah.
So now remember, whey isolate is going to be very fast digesting. So that's about a 30-minute digestible. So it's assimilated quick. So your body's going to absorb it quick. So you don't have to worry about now you're ready to metabolize again in 2 hours, 3 hours. You don't have to wait.
Exactly.
It's not a casein type where it's going to take 4 hours or so. Go ahead.
Perfect. So that's meal 1 and meal 2. Then I will eat 7 ounces of chicken, 2 cups of either white or jasmine rice. I don't care if it's brown rice. Take your pick. It doesn't matter.
I don't care what her name is.
It's a perfect carb source. But I'll do 7 ounces of either steak, chicken, or ground turkey mixed with 2 cups of rice and like a handful of either green beans or broccoli for my pre-workout meal. So that's about noon. Then I wait 90 minutes and I go to the gym, and I'm at the gym for approximately 90 minutes, maybe less. Always longer than 45, never, ever more than an hour and a half. I come home and I eat another 7 ounces of chicken, 2 scoops of rice, and a handful of broccoli about an hour after I get home from training, because my body is still anabolic. It's still processing. It's still working. It's not that cardio. We weight train for almost 90 minutes. And now I'm flushing the body with all the nutrients to help build it.
And real quick, for people who are trying to, they're so afraid of carbs or something like that, and avoiding them after like 2 or 3 in the afternoon isn't a bad philosophy. But your glycogen stores are low after a workout. You don't just deplete your body's depleted. So don't be afraid of a few carbs post-workout meal either. People don't let people get you into that. So he's right on it with his post-workout meal.
Yeah, and the carbs. Remember, carbs supply energy. So if you load up carbs that's why it's okay to eat like a king in the morning, eat like a normal person in the afternoon, and eat like you're poor in the evening. That kind of philosophy works if you want to lose weight without training. But then again, yes, I have the same meal after my workout, and then again, this is when I'm bulking or I'm trying to get bigger. I'll have another protein shake about an hour before I go to bed. That's my surplus. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 meals a day is basic. Sometimes 6 meals a day. When I want to go into a deficit.
Well, one quick trick for for your last meal too. And especially if you're bulking, having a casein protein before bed, that's a slow metabolizer. Now we talk about whey protein, or albumin's a little fast too, but casein is about 4 hours to digest. So think about this. You know how when they say to eat every 3 or 4 hours. So let's say you have your shake at 10 p.m. Your body's metabolized till 2 a.m. Well, he eats his next meal at 7 a.m. So he's only gone 2 to 7 is 5 hours. He's only gone 5 hours. So he's 1 hour off from metabolizing. That's it. He's literally ready to get back into his cycle. So Go ahead. It's a trick about. And it also makes you sleep better. Because your body's still digesting and your blood flow. It's like the food coma. You give yourself a food coma, you go to sleep, and it's not stored as fat. Why am I yelling? Go ahead. All right.
It's okay.
Now do your
somebody in the chat asked if pasta was okay. Pasta's okay if you want to get bigger, but pasta is not a good carb source. It is awful. If you're
if you're a marathon runner, honestly,
yeah. You want to do like a carb overload before a baseball game, or if you want to eat macaroni at 9 a.m. I mean, it's not a good.
We used
carb.
to do it before wrestling tournaments because it's like
sweet potatoes. Rice, sweet potatoes are way better and healthier carb sources than pasta is. Pasta goes down, and
walking and running sucks. Not good for your feet, your ankles, your knees. It's not good. I hate people that run.
To close it though, 5 to 6 meals a day when I am in a surplus, and I go to 3 meals a day when I want to be in a deficit. I eliminate the 9:30 a.m. protein shake. I eliminate the 9:30 p.m. protein shake, and sometimes I'll skip one of the chicken and rice or steak and rice meals. I never skip breakfast ever. Sometimes I'll do a fruit smoothie in the morning instead of the oatmeal or something like that, just to get the good sugars into my body.
Johnny, have a job offer right here.
I tell you what, that doesn't sound like a bad idea. It doesn't sound like a bad idea at all. So, but yeah.
Johnny Sperone has 2 cups of black coffee in the morning, 10 bottles of water, grilled chicken with Brussels sprouts, or steak with broccoli or corn every night. And then he drinks a 24-pack.
Well, if you do that with your caloric intake every single day, you're at least going to be healthy internally. I mean, booze ain't good for you, but who gives a fuck if you're doing everything else right? Everybody has a problem.
It's just not good for you.
This fly, what's good for it is if it gets the fuck off my head.
Dude, get your chopsticks out,
I'm with Taryn. I want to throw random stuff at runners and joggers. I just want to run them off the road. Is what I want to do.
Especially the graceful ones, like the ones that look like they're just floating along. And like when I run, I'm literally. It's like I don't know. It's like a bull falling over and having a heart attack like that, and the breathing is the same. Like I'm not good at it.
Why do bike riders have to wear this stupid fucking dickhead looking helmet and the
skin tight little gimmicks?
Shit. Yeah.
I do hate their helmets. I agree with you.
It's so stupid.
I don't.
Aren't they aerodynamic?
Yeah, but these aren't professional. They're fucking assholes that think they're professional bike riders.
How do you know they're assholes, Rob?
How do you know you're not offending bike riders in the chat?
Because he's riding Taryn's mantra.
Oh, Baxter.
I will not apologize for hating bike riders. If there's any bike
plus,
riders
it's also
in the chat,
a Carlin bit with the jogger assholes and the bicycle riding creeps too. So
that's great.
That's true. That's true.
And it's all true. It's 100% true. I hate him too. No offense. I don't hate anybody. I just don't.
No, of course not. We don't.
Just stop it. Just stop.
What's next on the docket? Rad Rob.
I don't know. The whole fucking program got fucked up when the video didn't work. I was going to kill like 40 minutes, but
we did kill some of it. We killed the show.
We've killed 40 minutes. I know you still got some goods and bads.
Yeah.
That's at least 20 minutes worth of discussions tonight.
I wasn't prepared for that.
Good job, Rob. Way to be a host.
I mean, we could wing it. Actually, you know what? Hold on. I got something.
Some people are really fucking stupid.
It only takes about 10 seconds to notice.
It's time for everybody's favorite segment.
If you guys don't know how to use a seatbelt, just ring your call button and Tommy will come back there and hit you on the head with a tack hammer.
You know, Lloyd, just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber.
Here's the imbecile of the week.
Some people are really stupid.
All right, this week's it's a random thing that Johnny sent me. It's not the guy that made the post. It's who he made the post about. So this was in the Brunswick Bowling fans. Darren Burnham asked, did Brunswick stop manufacturing balls this year? And of course, you're going to get your assholes that are like, why don't you fucking Google it? But the story behind it, I don't know if Johnny, can you see it?
I can't see it, but I'll tell you that most of the comments previous said, no, where did you hear that? It's false. Larry Verbal chimed in, who's longtime PBA player, works for KR, a good friend. And Larry said to the guy, like, where did you hear this? So this guy is explaining the story that he got from whoever he got it from as to why he couldn't get this bowling ball. Is it up there? Because I can't see it.
It is. He said, so the league I am bowling in is a workplace league. After the league is completed or you pay out your dues, you get a T-zone ball as part of the league. He said, I asked about upgrading, which is allowed, and he just has to pay the difference. So no problem. He paid out the dues and he ordered a mindset. He was told that it wasn't being manufactured. Seemed odd as it just came out not too long ago. So he tried to order a Quantum Evo response. He was told this. We can't get that one either. You're either going to have a good bit of trouble trying to order Brunswick balls because they stopped manufacturing them this year. If you try to stick to Hammer or Storm balls, it might be easier. So the imbecile of the week is whoever the fuck told this guy, and I'm assuming it's the league president or somebody in charge of that league. But that's just like
it's gross.
That's
man.
the dumbest fucking thing I ever heard.
It's the dumbest fucking thing ever. Meanwhile, guys, just so you know, Walter Ray Williams Jr. won the PBA 60 today with a Teal Rhino Pro, which is a ball that was manufactured. Oh, it's been manufactured already, and it's not readily available to the public yet because it's not out yet. So, I don't know. That just sounds to me like the guy wanted nothing to do with helping his customer, which is the biggest fucking problem of it all.
And it could have been the pro shop guy, I guess.
And maybe they had some kind of deal where the pro shop guy, like the bowling center ordered the bowling balls, but the pro shop guy would have had to send back the product or pay the difference to get the balls. And maybe the T-zones were discontinued colors, and somehow, some way, somebody was probably going to get screwed. And they just didn't have the heart, decency, or balls to tell this guy, hey, look, man. But either way, it still doesn't make sense because the guy flat out said he was willing to pay for the upgrade, which most people do. When I had my store at Sunset Station, we had Have-A-Ball leagues. And shit, half or more people didn't want their T-zone. They wanted a high-performance ball because it was virtually, $70 less at that point. But like we just saw there, it's somebody had to be affected internally because then they go out and they say, why don't you try Hammer or Storm? Well, Hammer is Brunswick. So they really not only didn't do their research, they just flat out told this guy to go fuck himself so they can cater to their own agenda. So to you, random league president or pro shop operator, you are the kind of people that are destroying our sport, and you can go fuck yourself, San Diego. Sweet Odin's Raven.
I've been at parties called Have a Ball, and it has a totally different meaning. So I'm glad I missed this segment.
Can we talk about the Teal Rhino Pro? That
Holy shit, Rob! Did you know the Teal Rhino Pro came out? They re-released it. Did you notice, Rob?
I still think it's fake. I don't believe it. I won't believe it until Johnny sends me one,
or until he says it 10 more times.
That's a bet. I can do that.
Why do you keep trying to get free shit, man?
Well, I have the original, and I want a new one, and I want to do a side-by-side test. I'm going to go to a lane and throw them and see which
What's
one
going to be funny is I'm just picturing that bowling strike that you have in the signature at the beginning of the show. And it's like, look at the new Teal Rhino Pro.
It's like the fucking Atari
version
strike.
Rhino.
Well, obviously, I have 75,000 games on the original, so I'm sure the new one would perform better. Plus, I'm going to have a different layout, and my fingers are different and all that. I can't have weight holes anymore. I have weight hole in the old one, so that's illegal now. But no, is it like the Forest Green Quantum? Is it like an exact remake of the original, or did they do something differently? Obviously, they don't have 30-year-old cover stock, so
it's that same original light bulb core design, 2-piece bowling ball, which is just like the OG was. Honestly, guys, when they remade the Fire Quantum and the Forest Quantum, those were both 2-piece with the mushroom core. Obviously, it's not Power Coil 17 cover stock because the cover stock has to be updated for the oil. So the covers themselves are catered to today's game. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Sorry.
They were wood lanes back then, or were they starting to do synthetics back when they?
Synthetics had been around since before the original Teal Rhino, but they were used on both surfaces back then. But to answer your question, Rob, I would hope that it would be close in today's game. If it was close to the original, it would be a dud. It wouldn't hook at all because that is technology of yesteryear compared to today. But It'll be stronger, but the whole goal of it, I hope, is that it maintains its rolliness, and it should, being a symmetrical solid.
So what you're saying is it'll look the same on today's game as it did in 1993 when they were throwing, or 94 on those lanes, on those conditions and whatnot.
Right. Like when we watched them, that would be great. That would be awesome. That'd be a hell of a remake for a urethane ball. But,
go ahead,
like for instance, Oach, if you went and turned on the 1994 Johnny Petraglia Open, the semifinal match, Amleto Monticelli's throwing a Teal Rhino Pro, and he's playing probably 20 to about 7 or 8 at the break point, and he's wheeling the whole lane with it. And back then, that's what the Teal Rhino did.
Yeah.
But if you watch Amleto Monticelli bowl today, he would still be around 15 to 20 at the arrows, about 7 or 8 at the break point with that ball. So yes, compared to, but again, the balls have to be made stronger.
The ball's not the same. It's repeating the same.
Exactly.
Is this the first time in a long time that we're seeing the same players using like a lot of the same bowling ball? Like I really don't remember. I'm also new to bowling. There's so many bowling balls that I don't remember seeing 2 or 3 guys even bowling with the same bowling ball. From 2010 to 2018 maybe-ish, or maybe 2005. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you see, I don't know what anybody's throwing. I know what a purple hammer is. I know what a Teal Rhino Pro is. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Compared to yesteryear, like let's go back to the early 90s. Let's go back to the 90s to the early 2000s.
That's what made me think of it, because you said he's throwing a Teal Rhino Pro, and I'm like, well, so did Parker, and so did.
There were certain bowling balls that everybody threw because only so many bowling balls were produced throughout the year.
True.
Like, so you could designate a year simply by the bowling ball that was produced that year. For instance, 1992, everybody was throwing the Excalibur and the Purple Rhino Pro, or a Black Turbo.
John
1993, everybody was throwing a Crush. Everybody was throwing the Teal Rhino Pro. Everybody was throwing a Turbo X. 94.
The Danger Zone, the Speed Zone, right? Was that 94?
Right. Well, 94 and 5, here come the Danger Zones. Here come the Quantums, the Cudas, the Piranhas. And everybody threw those balls, or a variation of it. The Jade Piranha C, the Black Ice Danger Zone, the Combat Zone. But then bowling balls started getting produced more and more and more and more. So what happened is, instead of everybody throwing basically the same bowling balls, there are only certain bowling balls that everybody throws.
Right. Derivatives of.
Right. Everybody throws a Purple Hammer. Everybody throws a Venom Shock. Everybody throws a... God, what the hell am I missing? Why am I going blank with the resin balls? An IQ Tour Solid. You know, everybody throws... Nowadays, you see everybody throwing that DV8 Brutal Collision. Everybody throws the original Idol from Rotogrip. There are certain balls that a Jackal Ghost, balls that every single bowler is in love with for a long stretch of time. Whereas other balls are very pattern specific, surface specific, and they're holding a job way, way less than those solid pieces that are always there. So that's why it's flipped, is the production of these bowling balls, the ability to manipulate all these bowling balls, the surface changes, the complete studying of the lane graphs and all the other components all kind of combined into one thing is the reason.
And I feel like all these resin balls, they can't be that different. I'm sure they're different, but like, because they're derivatives, the drasticness of one to the other, I feel, is very slim, I think.
Yes.
But they're so mass produced and one might fit for the other, and then that just makes that people not have that weak 10 pin or something like that tiny little bit, you know.
It's quite simple, Oach. There's either good bowling balls or there are great bowling balls. No ball is really shitty, because every bowling ball will work for somebody at some point. And it's, you know, I mean, yes, okay, if the ball turns into a raisin and doesn't roll down the lane like a fucking sphere, okay, that's one thing. If a ball has a tendency to crack more often, I'm not talking about any of that. But whether I go drill an Ocean Vibe, a Sensor, a Stealth Pearl, or a Brunswick Mindset, it doesn't matter. They're all going to be good bowling balls. But the ones that are great are the ones, like I said, that you see everybody throw on virtually every single pattern. Jim Ward has a great point there with the Purple Angle, who P. Weber says if he had to pick is his favorite ball of all time. So that's the equivalent of what's going on now. I would say the problem is, even back then when that ball was being thrown out, there were still other balls that you saw on television.
Right.
I mean, if every single time you turn on a PBA telecast, it is a 100% guarantee that if a Brunswick staffer is on that show, you will see a purple hammer.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's a Storm staffer on that show, you will see a pitch black.
Yeah.
Hands down. And that just goes to show you how dominant those two
Right.
bowling balls are, because you don't see Storm guys out there still throwing pitch purples or pitch blues. Those balls got discontinued as fast as they were made. Brunswick doesn't make the True Motion anymore, doesn't make the Avalanche urethane anymore. They don't have any desire to go that route anymore, because if you have a good, like even the craze when I'm going to go with the Rubicon UC3 came out, that silver urethane pearl, everybody was gung-ho over that ball for about the usual duration of time, 5 to 6 months. You don't see that ball fucking anywhere anymore. Out of nowhere, that ball was God for 6 months. Nobody throws it anymore. Why? It's not a pitch black. It's not a purple hammer. Why do you think Motive makes 18 different urethane tanks and makes them in all these crazy colors? Yellow jacket, Stonewall, this color, blue. Because they're trying to make a purple hammer or a pitch black.
Right,
and they can't do it. They've made every fucking color tank, and they tell you that every single tank that comes out is the best urethane ball in the world, and then they try and tell you it's microcell polymer. It doesn't matter. Your urethane ball sucks compared to the pitch black and the purple hammer. Do better.
Don't they have don't they know what like the layouts, or not the layouts, but like the secrets are or anything? Like, or
that's what I asked last week. Like, how does nobody else know how to make the hammer?
Like, it's like you go to a restaurant and you like have to steal their sauce and like put it in a lab to like get the ingredients and figure it out.
It really is like that. It is so insane to think of all the brilliant minds that we have in this game spread across all of the companies. And I'm not bashing anybody. Moto's a great company. Storm's a great company. Brunswick's a great company. Fucking Legends was a great company. Everybody is great at what they do. But it is crazy to believe that, like, here it is, guys. It's no secret. This is the greatest bowling ball ever made. And nobody can replicate it at all.
They crack it open. They look at it. They test it. I mean, it's like,
I don't know.
How the fuck do they not do it? It amazes me. Do you think Hammer knew, like, they had no way of knowing, like, this is going to be the fucking tits when it comes out, right?
Well, they knew they had something, because if you guys remember, the purple hammer wasn't their first urethane that came out. They came out with the black hammer first. And the black hammer was a wonderful urethane ball. I personally thought the black hammer was just as good, if not better, than the pitch black. Then the purple one came out. And it took a little while, but at first it was, oh, lefties throw urethane, lefties throw the purple hammer, which is very, very, very true. It's the same reason I threw rubber LTs for a lot of years of my life, because the rubber LT at that time rolled the way the purple hammer does at this time. And of course,
dude, that burgundy hammer was fucking fire.
Yeah,
Jeff
that ball was
like,
fire. That ball was great. That ball would probably still be good on today's conditions.
That's true. I had a black angle back in the day, Jim. That was a good ball.
If my life was a bowling ball, I would be the blue ball pitch, whatever it was called. That's just
pitch blue.
Pitch blue. That'd be me. That's my
Jim. The black angle. The black angle might go a little too straight for today's game. You may be able to make something work out of that sumo, but again, either of those balls could work on shorter patterns. But in my experience, I don't think that black angle would really fare well against any modern conditions.
So do we really think the manufacturer of a particular chemical or urethane like is better than the rest? Like that's
different.
Minutia, right?
But that's where like that's where
makes one better, but
they
certainly
are
different.
Right. So but they've tried so many and they can't replicate it, and that's like you said, it's mind-boggling.
It's amazing. It is.
Well, it really like how many people have like when you bite into a McDonald's hamburger, you know it's a McDonald's hamburger, don't you?
Absolutely.
And it's amazing because a McDonald's hamburger doesn't taste like any other hamburger in the world. I've never had any burger.
Their fries.
And their French fries. Nobody has ever been able to replicate McDonald's ever.
Absolutely.
So it's really not that different.
And they still have just regular oil. They do them in 2 seconds. It's made in 2 seconds. It's not like they're doing like this extra TLC to them.
Here's a great comparison for you. My dad's bowling ball. The highest grossing bowling ball of all time. Okay. My dad's bowling ball hooked everybody that ever threw an LT in the 70s. All say the same thing. This ball hooks more than anything I've ever seen in my life. This ball is out of this world. There were 2 events in 1976 where all top 24 guys were throwing LT 48s in the finals.
Damn.
And nobody could ever recreate the Johnny Petraglia LT 48. Here was the elixir for that ball. When Brunswick met with my dad and the designer of the bowling ball, I think his name was Louis Trani. That's what the LT stands for. They said, Johnny, do you want to go plastic or resin? He said, or rubber. I want to go rubber, but contrary to like the AMF 3-dot and the Ebonite Magic line or whatever the hell they were called, I don't want mine to be 90 hardness, because back then those rubber balls were 90 hardness. And we know if a ball is harder surface, it has less surface friction, it doesn't hook as much. So my dad says, make it the legal lowest hardness you are allowed to, which at that time, I don't remember what legality issue was, but my dad's LT48 was 77 hardness at production.
Wow.
Then they infused the cork center with Japanese cherry pit powder. That was the secret sauce.
So, but again, all right, please, now I want to be a fly on the wall in the room, and when they say, and now the secret ingredient, because how do they come up with that part? Is it lighter? Does it make the ball? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
that's so obscure.
Right,
like
of all things, it's like, well, let's take the freaking gallbladder out of a bear and fucking stuff it in the damn bowling ball. Like, how do you come up with that?
Well, look, here's a great example for you. Right after my dad's ball with the Japanese cherry pit powder, they tried to make the Dave Davis name ball. I don't know if it was called an LT or if it was called, I know the Mark Roth was called the Pro Max, but there was a Dave Davis ball. And they used Japanese cherry pits in that one, but they weren't grinded. They weren't powder. They were the actual pits.
So they were solid pits. So there was more. Yeah. So there was
rattling going on in the freaking like dog shit. Rolled like dog shit.
Fucking pits.
Same colors, same everything. So who knows if that was really what would made it that much different. But either way, like the McDonald's burger, like the LT48, not one mind in this game can recreate that purple hammer.
It's amazing. That's why everybody hates it. They want to fucking.
Why they want to ban it, of course.
But I think I feel like there's got to be some freaking NASA scientist that's like, let me try this for a sec, you know. And I don't mean like he's probably fucking with fiberglass and like, you know, the fulcrum formulas to reshape, but like, and he still probably can't do it either. That's the other thing. What
Elon Musk?
What detailed science to have to be a part of? Because I feel like you have to know more than you got to know more than physics. You got to know more than chemistry. You got to know more than aerodynamics, I feel like. Mm-hmm. So like you got to be such a jack of all trades to find out that watermelon pits, is that what they were? What are cherry pits?
Japanese cherry pits.
Japanese cherry pits. And what are the difference between the cherries in Japan as opposed to here?
Well, they go to school a lot more than us.
All right, so they know math.
They're probably smarter Japanese cherry pits. So to answer Jim's question, Jim, with the most recent things going on with the PBA, not necessarily banning urethane, but certainly trying to get urethane out of the equation, I don't think they're going to go on a journey of bringing back a throwback that's that old. I think you're going to stay in the resin era when it comes to throwbacks. There's really no reason to brand or to bring back urethane to a generation that that's from a time that most of this generation now wasn't really bowling yet. So you'll see them do more of the re-releases like the mid-90s Teal Rhino Pro or the mid-90s Cuda, the Messengers. You'll see balls like that come out more often, I would say, as far as the vintage releases when you from the brands of Brunswick. I don't foresee them re-releasing an Ebonite Thunderbolt.
The brown edge too, I remember.
I had my red edge. That was great. I love the urethane cover with a rubber outer core.
The Tommy Hudson LT51. I'm not sure.
And ironically, so you just proved my point before I even started speaking. You just said the Tommy Hudson LT51. I've never even heard of that one. Right. Tommy Hudson was in the meeting too because he got to select the core cover combo on his also. And Tommy Hudson said, no, whatever reason he chose the number 551. But Tommy Hudson said, plastic is the wave of the future. It hooks more. It's shiny. I could do different colors with it. So not only did Tommy Hudson LT51s come out as a blue solid and a green pearl, but they both sucked and nobody threw them. They were hard. So it just goes to show you how you fall onto something as special as that LT48 was in the same room with the guy whose product did nothing.
I got a quick question.
No.
Yes. Bowlers they've thrown a bowling ball a million times in their life. for a professional, do they know within like a game or 2 games how if a ball sucks, not by their score, but by can they see how the ball flips or rotates or?
A professional, I would say, knows if a ball is going to be workable in the first 5 or 6 shots they throw it. Like, what I mean by workable is I like the Brunswick mindset. I knew that immediately when I threw it. I also knew immediately that I'd probably throw it minimally because I'm never going to be on anything that I need to throw something like that. But what happens with that is even if a bowler doesn't like a motion in the first 5 frames of the ball, they can get it close enough to where they may need it. So like they'll say this ocean
doesn't mean it sucks. It means like it's not for right now.
Yeah, and so
then why does Brad Miller switch 15 balls and still not have a fucking clue?
Because he's a mediocre player.
I just wanted you to say it. That's all.
I've said it.
A mediocre. So that's a little harsh. I know we'd had our. That's a little harsh.
A mediocre professional. He's a fantastic, sensational bowler. He could probably kick my ass. At the professional level, he's mediocre. And I think that because he doesn't have the ability to manipulate enough, he's not very good at playing the gutter. He cannot get in front of the ball return. He doesn't have enough power. He's average at everything compared to those other guys.
That, I almost feel like he would have gotten crushed back in the 70s when you had to do a lot more to the ball, the manipulation, you had to do more of the work than the ball did.
I don't know. That's a great question because maybe he would have done better because other than Mark Roth,
a lot of the factors are out of it. That's right.
Yeah. But so guys that can't trick the lane, manipulate the lane, throw it over the fronts, play various crazy drastic angles, they are way more reliant on ball selection. Now, there are a couple I don't care how many balls you drill. It doesn't determine what kind of player you are. Don Barrett is one of the greatest bowlers to ever walk the planet, and he drills more bowling balls than anybody. So it's personal preference. Some guys are drill machines and some guys don't like to drill balls at all. My dad hates drilling bowling balls. Fucking hates it. He wishes he can go to a tournament with 2 bowling balls every week. He really doesn't like drilling shit, which I get.
That's why he crushes the plastic ball tournament. He was like top
10, like because he knows nobody else has an advantage over him in the
plastic ball tournament.
Yeah,
that's why you can throw rubber and nobody else can.
But no, so it's again somebody like Brad or players like that. They need to utilize more of the tools to get themselves in contention.
All right, so then how do they know? All right, so then how quickly do they know it's a ball they'll never throw again, or it shouldn't even have been manufactured? Something like that then.
Typically, if a ball is that bad, it's off the market very, very quickly. We see
a pro will throw it and go, "Oh my god, this is a marshmallow" or something like that.
Oh yeah, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. And it's gotten easier as the years have progressed because now we can do test balls, we can vary colors, we can change core and covers, we can make sure the ball is ready to get out there, which is why as production continues, so many great bowling balls continue to be made.
Never gets right. It won't get to that point where a pro is like, what is this bag of shit in my hand, basically.
Exactly.
I got you.
It was kind of hit or miss. Like the reason everybody threw the Piranha and the Cuda is because they were so good. They were the reason they're being reproduced these days. Do you guys even remember the track Nuke?
Nuke Lelouch?
No.
The track Nuke. It literally
said Cuda short for Barracuda, by the way?
Yes. And the Nuke had like the what the hell? The nuclear bomb logo with the 6 stripes. It was a track ball. It was green. They tried to push that fucking ball so goddamn hard. They had the best campaigns. The ball was a pretty green. The matching shirts were great. That ball was on the market for maybe a year. It sucked. Another ball that they wanted to make great, the AMF XS. It was white. It was, I'm going to put yellow finger grips in it. It's going to look like an egg. And the campaigns they had with the late Dennis Jakes, the photo shoots, the commercials, they wanted this ball to be the second coming of Christ. That XS, people threw it one time. It turned jet black, got dirty. It rolled like a fucking turd, and nobody bought it. It was gone.
And all that money they spent in hopes of making maybe half of it back, they made zero back. Oh,
so you know a ball is bad, especially when they are trying to push it and nobody's buying
That's
it.
true too. That's true. I mean, the ball will speak for itself. That's a good point too,
Yeah.
and especially with the tour players. I mean, that's like I wouldn't know what a purple hammer is, but I watched bowling, and now I know. Like, well, shit, a bunch of people are using it, and now I see it on leagues. Well, not in the summer, so I don't bowl, but like, and league guys don't know how to throw the damn thing. That's the other funny part.
Yeah. And then the other league guys that don't know how to bowl getting mad at those guys saying,
yeah, because they go, oh, he's slopping up my line. Like,
do me a favor, guy.
Line is.
I want to ask the guy who's getting his line fucked up. I want you, before you throw your next shot, to tell me where you're standing, tell me where you're hitting at the arrows, and tell me where you're getting into the break point. I'm going to film you. If you don't hit that, I'm going to, like, those are always the people that are telling you, oh, he's fucking up my line with this urethane. You don't even know what your line is. Sit down, you 212 house bowler. That's me.
That actually was what your dad said about a mark, and I was like, "What mark? What did I mark?" I was like, "Did I leave a scuff on the lane or something like that?" That's literally. He goes, "Where's your?" Where's your mark? Where's your target? And I was like,
"Oh, and you didn't know what he was talking about?"
No, yeah. I said, "Well, we're on lane 24 and 25, so maybe I got that wrong too. 25 and 26. How is it? Yeah, it's 25 and 26. It was the one your dad hated. That's all."
The Piranha was orange, right?
Yeah.
I love that ball. I never had one. My best friend had one. It just looks so fucking cool because it's like bright orange. Like, it was a good ball, actually. I mean, he fucking
You're making my point
ball.
even more now. It's
yeah.
Here's another great one. Here's a great comparison. Two balls came out together in 1995 from
during
track.
the show.
One of these bowling balls, everybody knows, and everybody threw, and every single person won with, and that was the Critical Mass Code Red. Anybody that's ever thrown a track product remembers that bowling ball.
So you're going to say the gold ball.
Well, no, I'm sticking with track right now because I'm trying to do the comparison.
Okay. Gotcha,
so if that ball was so good and everybody had it, does anybody even remember the track NRG, which was the brown ball that came out at the exact same time? They had the track NRG shirt in every single color. They had it in baby blue. They had it in black, navy. At every single color you could possibly think of, trying to promote this NRG. You never saw a Critical Mass Code Red shirt, ever. It was very, very rare. You saw the Critical Mass shirt, which had the explosion of the pins that Hoskins used to wear. But everybody loved the Critical Mass Code Red, and nobody threw the NRG as much as they tried to push that ball. They wanted...
Carolyn JD loved it.
Yeah, of course. So did Dave D'Entremont. Again, there are anomalies to what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is comparison of those two bowling balls, that one outshined, outperformed, and was outpurchased immensely over its counterpart.
Was that the intention, or was that they didn't even know? They just thought they had...
I don't think they knew. Brunswick's gone through shit like this also, where they come out with 2 or 3 different balls at the same time, and one is excellent and 2 are shit. It happens all the time. Or the Pearl version is so great and the solid version is so bad.
Right. Maybe that's a smart play too, because then you let the court of public opinion or professional opinion take its toll, and then you don't waste money mass producing a shit bowling ball that, a house bowler still has to struggle to bowl 212 on, us house.
Absolutely.
This may seem like a really stupid question, and you might know, Johnny, but I've always been curious, like all the pros, you always see them on TV go to their ball reps that are there and be like, oh, well, this one isn't fucking doing this. Like, what should I use? And they'll tell them what to throw. Like, I know the ball reps are supposed to know everything about the balls, but I mean, aren't the pros as well? Like, they're not really coaches.
And was there this back in the day also? Because I don't remember people talking to them dudes or anything.
It was not. You never saw it back in the day. If anything, the ball reps that were there.
I feel like Andre Agassi never was like to Brad Gilbert, hey, dude, I can't return this guy's serve. What should I do? Like right in the middle of freaking the U.S. Open.
There's a couple different ways to look at it. A golfer is a superior player compared to his caddy, but his caddy is the most important person to him during that round. It's a set of eyes that is experienced, that is around the game, that has studied the course, the same as a ball rep.
Right.
A ball rep understands the topography of the building, the lane oil being used. The ball rep has the freedom to go watch everybody that's bowling to see who's striking, who's not, what balls are working, what balls aren't. A ball rep is very similar to a caddy in the respect that they are scouting out the tournament for their players, because the whole goal is to get your players on TV, get your products to be seen while you're on national television.
That should be allowed then, I think.
That's a ball rep's job. So there's my one side of it. Yes, in that respect, a bowler should be able to talk to his ball rep because it's, I think, Now, the flip side of it is I don't know when they decided to allow that, because it used to be an extreme no. You want to win this, you got to win this on your own. But that's kind of just the general aura of people these days. People aren't really so like stoic and professional, and I'm going to sit in my seat with my arms crossed anymore. They're not really like that anymore.
So why do they become from Long Island every time you do? I'm just curious. Every stoic person is I'm just sitting in my seat doing what I'm told. Well, no, I screwed it up too. I fucked it up.
What about this voice makes you think Long
Island?
Oh no,
Connecticut. I'm sorry, Connecticut.
This voice makes me feel like I'm Tim Gunn.
Thurston Howell.
Yeah, thank you, Tim Gunn. You get like,
I'm not fucking talking like this. I'm like, what?
I screwed it up. I meant Connecticut. I meant like freaking.
Do they talk like this in Connecticut? It doesn't matter.
Connecticut, so no.
No, they say "thank you" in Connecticut. Apparently,
they say Popeyes.
Fuck off. So I mean, I like the caddy comparisons. I mean that I can relate. Like I can understand that. Yeah. What I don't understand is like, are there times do you think when the ball reps are saying, "Well, we really need to get this fucking fade out, Belmo. Like we need to fucking. Can you just use it?" Or do you think that's
yes?
Do they try to
product placement?
But never when it's in the interference in the match. Like they may say to guys, I'm sure they've said it to
You're
guys
up by
like Anthony
60 in the 10th. Throw this one for
that. Well, that's one on a fill ball. Throw this ball. Throw this new piece. Yeah. See if you got to look that you want exposure. But I'm sure because this is something that's new because. You never, ever saw guys not throwing the new balls on TV back then because the incentive money was so great. But I have to imagine that Storm has to have said something to Anthony along the lines of, hey, Anthony, if it takes us 9 hours on the PBA truck and we have to drill you 50 bowling balls, you think maybe we can go try and find one that rolls like the Idol? Because we don't make the Idol anymore. And that's Anthony's go-to ball on television is that Idol, the original magenta one. So I'm sure that they at least try, but in the end, they let the bowlers do whatever they want nowadays. I'm sure Storm would love if Jesper Svensson ever used anything but a pitch black, because now really the only thing that you can sell through Jesper is the fact that he's from Sweden and he's got tattoos and he doesn't really look like a bowler. Because other than that, Jesper Svensson ain't selling bowling balls. You know, Robert Smith sold bowling balls. Chris Prather sells bowling balls because every time you see Chris Prather bowl, you don't know what arrow he's going to be on. You don't know what ball he's going to be throwing. Belmo sells bowling balls. Hey, you never know where Belmo's going to be.
He's got to be getting close to 50.
Wait a minute. Legend alert. Cue the siren.
I've been here the whole time. Oh.
We're not cueing the siren.
Blow the siren, Rob. Come on.
Blow the siren. Da-da-da-da. Hi, CDB. Ladies and gentlemen, bowling royalty in the chat.
Absolutely.
Happy belated birthday to Deputy Dog. Love and miss you. What were we talking about before her arrival?
CBD works great too, by the way.
We were talking
real quick, Robert Smith. So he's going to be on the senior tour soon, right? I hope.
Yeah, isn't that scary?
Yeah. Now, this wasn't this because this is when I kind of started paying attention. Now he was trying to not hook the ball as much. Didn't he Roberts? Didn't he start to mess with his grip? So
there was a period where he went to the Sarge Easter grip, which is a conventional ring finger incorporated with a fingertip middle. So he did that for a while to decrease rev rate. Robert's gone through a lot of different hand changes throughout his career. We literally were doubles teammates at Red Rock for a couple of years, and even then I saw him go through grip changes. But nothing wrong with being a fiddler. I mean, Mike Fagan went through it too.
No. I mean, it's like everybody's always wanting more hand. Hit the ball. The two-handers get so many revs. And here's a guy that was literally trying. I assume maybe for accuracy's sake. I don't know. But man, when that guy would rip, he just ripped the cover off the ball.
Well, think about this.
It just looked awesome. That's all.
Nobody hooked it more than Robert Smith.
I don't care where it went. Time. I don't care if it was on the same fucking lane. I loved it.
But nobody hooked it more than Robert. So if anything, Robert probably wanted to decrease his revs so he didn't have to be out on an island by himself all the time. You would assume if every bowler at that time, even like the Letos or the guys that really curved it, D'Entremont, those guys are still somewhere between 15 and 20 at the hours if they're deep at that time. Robert's over the cap. So if Robert wants to get into the mix because he throws it hard enough and keep his angles a little bit straighter through the front, say in the earlier blocks, and then bomb it and go in where he kicks everybody's ass, more power to him. Anytime a pro tries to incorporate some kind of tool or something different into their game, it is for a very, very, very specific reason or set of reasons. Like Walter Ray, if you guys have ever seen the arena show where he's throwing a violet quantum, he's got his hand literally almost on the top of the bowling ball with a dead flat wrist, looking like he's just literally trying to fling the ball at the head pin with maybe 5 to 6 revolutions on the ball. He didn't do that because he felt like it. He did it because it was a necessity for him to work on that television show. And voila, he bowls great. There's always something. Justin Romek used to wear an actual finger grip on his index finger when he bowled. I don't know if guys that curl their pinkies for balance, guys. Gary Dickinson took his ring finger out of the ball when he would shoot a 10-pin to cut down revs. So
Donnell does that too.
Pros are always trying to figure out something to make something a little bit easier or make themselves more effective at something that they do.
But my point about it was,
what's up, U.S. Open champ? Sorry,
champs in the house.
It was just the fact that because they preach rev rate now and how that's what you see because now they have the StatCast and 524 or whatever red rate and the 495 and here was a guy that probably was around, I guess, 500 with one hand and wanted to decrease it. Was it? Probably. And now let me ask you this. So when he goes out on the senior tour, is he going to just bowl his regulars? Like, is he still going to try and keep his rev rate down?
He's going to bowl like a 50-year-old version of Robert Smith. You're not going to see him lofting caps anymore.
No, but he's still going to rip the cover off it, though, because that's what he does.
He's going to be a force to be reckoned with, just like he was on
the
regular
That's what I mean.
tour.
The ball's going to hit 100%. Like a freaking cannon. That's going to be like a 50-pound bowling ball hitting those pins.
It's literally going to look like it got shot out of the
Wait, why did he stop bowling anyways? Real quick. What happened to the guy?
Robert's had a lot of injuries throughout his career.
I guess throwing the ball kind of so violently, too.
But there was and it certainly screwed with his lifetime stats on the PBA Tour. Robert wins minimum 10 more titles.
He's like a Mattingly. Like he was a freaking force for freaking 7 years or whatever. You know what I mean? 8 years and then just
it's very similar to Danny Wiseman, and those are the two guys that pop up in my head with if they weren't plagued by injuries for the majority of the best times of their careers, they would have
those were the good times.
So much more. Yeah. So like now, Robert's been very, very healthy for a couple of years, maybe 5 years now. He looks great. He's always out bowling, and he never really saying that he's not feeling good. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Robert on the senior tour healthy. That would be awesome.
Wait, he's my age then? Shit.
Even Danny gets out and he's bowling again. Danny's killing him at his local tournament.
Yeah, it's good to see him out there too, for sure.
Stupid me only has a doctorate, and I feel so unaccomplished because he's about to hit the senior tour, and he's my age. Damn it! Now I'm going bowling on the senior tour.
It is sad to think about. We talked about it before, like Jason Couch and like all these fucking guys we watch.
Because they were because they were. I didn't think they were my age. I thought they were a lot older. But also,
that's what I said to Chad Lush. I said to Chad Lush at the senior Masters. I'm in the crowd watching. I got Bo Gergen in front of me, Brad Angelo. I got a couple other guys I don't know, and I look over at Chad. I'm like, I know I'm getting old because these guys don't look old anymore.
That's it. They look normal.
They look like, hey, we're going out to dinner when we're done. It's not like John Handegard. Like John Handegard was 57 and he looked like he was 80. Like,
I mean, the guy had a true gibbous deformity. It's a legit gibbous. He had a hyperkyphosis, man. Like, and the guy, maybe that's what helped him stay low. I don't know, but he didn't miss his mark.
But I mean, even Troy still looks young. He doesn't look like he's
like, how the
50.
fuck is Troy 55?
Right.
That doesn't even make sense.
It's stupid.
CDB. She still looks like she's 40. It doesn't make sense to me. So anyway, like, thank God.
But how old do I look right now? Just give me an honest opinion.
Right now, you look to be about my age.
Nice.
And Rob's
I'll take 28 for like 22.
I'll take 28.
I was going younger.
But see, this is what's weird though, because I don't want to get like this false image of myself either, because I don't fucking feel like I look like I'm 39. I still feel like I look like I'm 29. I guess that happens at this age.
Yeah.
But like, I don't feel like I look like I'm almost 40.
Right. I mean, I don't think I look 47. I feel like
your innards are about 90. Jesus, holy shit.
Yeah. My arteries are like 95, but I mean, that's,
So am I.
You might have new valves soon, for all we know. Your valves will be younger than your arteries.
Just go in there and redo the whole thing. Just refurbish all the inside. Just fucking. Taryn thinks she's 16. Well, you know, yeah.
At least say 18, so I don't feel as bad.
Right. A red mask will make you look younger, says Sperone. That's funny.
Oh.
That's actually funny.
What's this?
What else we got?
I wanted to give you my good for the week.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude, Rob, that was an hour ago. Rob, how did you sidetrack us with your Popeyes?
That's okay. Because we delivered the bad. We delivered the imbecile.
Good point.
So,
that's a good point.
The good thing that I wanted to shout out here was actually to my dad. You know, guys, my dad's 76 years old. And he went out to that tournament in Columbus at Wayne Webb's place, and he bowled 16 games. And he shoots 235 game 8, day 1 to finish plus 35 for the day. And then he comes out on day 2. He's like 200 pins outside the cash number, and he goes out and he shoots 220 or 210, 250, 220, 2-0, and he winds up going 100-something over. And I'm watching my dad bowl, and I'm just like, my fucking dad is 76 years old, and he's still averaging 215 at PBA tournaments. Like, do you guys remember when Carmen Salvino was 70 and he would bowl in like the Tournament of Champions and he would go like 500 under, or he would go bowl in Babylon and he'd be 400 under? My dad's 76 years old and he's still averaging 215 at PBA senior events. I called him. I told him I was so proud of him. I watched him bowl the entire tournament. I told him it's the most fun I have had watching him bowl in so long, and I actually almost made him cry. And the fact that he bowled so well on 4th of July, and you guys know my dad loves our country more than anybody on this planet. You know he was bowling with a heavier heart that day for that. And he had just come off Bowl Expo receiving that fantastic award for his 50 years of service with the BVL. He said thousands of people showed up for his speech, and it was just fantastic. And so he's been on a really nice run here for a week, mentally and physically bowled fantastic. So, but my good for this week is my dad. And
dude, you get to have goosebump moments with your dad still. Like, that's so freaking badass.
It is cool.
Damn right.
It is cool.
Like, that's
I
spine chilling, man. That's awesome.
He doesn't look 76. I mean,
that's the goatee. That's why.
Old.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's why he grew it.
It's like Parker looks 30 years younger with a stash. So, I mean, it was
Parker's looked the same for 50 years.
Isn't it weird though? Like he's on a senior tour.
Actually, no, I take that back. Paul Rudd has looked the same for 30 years.
About that, he was in
Parker's gained about 10 pounds in the last 30 years, and his hair's a little more gray.
I don't know that he's gained 10, dude. I'd maybe say about 5 or 6. Because I mean, like,
to me, Ryan Reynolds still looks young too.
Yeah, that's another guy, right? Like, how the fuck is Ryan Reynolds older than me?
Right. Yeah.
By a lot. I think it's like 45.
Well, the Hollywood types, they get their they get their jimmies done and whatnot, and they have tricks. They get tricks that we don't get, but that means we're doing something good. I mean, look at this
money does buy you a lot of things, and it can certainly help upkeep with beauty.
Johnny, the task that I tasked you with last week, did you find out who John Holmes was?
Nope.
You really don't know? Is that a joke?
I really don't know who John Holmes is.
I'm not. I mean,
is this as bad as Walter Ray not knowing who Michael Jordan is?
Yes. It's close. It's close. It's very close.
John Holmes,
and you didn't admit
white
that last
generic
time.
name you could possibly throw at me. Who is John Holmes?
You would know him if you saw. Well, you would know part of him if you saw.
If you put up a picture, I won't be able to see it.
That's true.
Plus, plus, you can't on Facebook because John Holmes is known.
Ironically, though, I can watch videos with you guys, but I just can't see pictures. That's cool.
Just type in John Holmes in your phone and let everybody enjoy in the chat when your face does what you say.
John.
Oh, there's no H in it, right? It's just Jon. I forget. I don't even know.
Put John Holmes.
Oh, JD texted me that I'm having a tremendous hair day. Thank you, JD.
You always have a great hair day.
Oh, guys. John
Larry Legend in the house. What's going on?
What up, Lichko?
Good to see you.
I'm trying to Lich, you got here at the right time. They're making me find out who John Holmes is because
we know who Ron Jeremy is, right? Don't say no, because John Sperone is giving us more keywords.
Is he a porno star?
He was.
I have never seen or heard of John Holmes.
I've never seen him, but I've heard of him because I thought it was like part of like the U.S. Constitution that you have to know who John Holmes was.
Sorry,
it's
guys.
like
I'll do some
baseball,
more research.
apple pie, and John Holmes is.
John Holmes.
I will do some more research.
Yeah.
Oh, then the research. No, you did fine. Now you just read like 1/8 of his Wikipedia, and I'm sure everything. Is there a Wikipedia for him?
Pictures are not Facebook safe. That's right, Brian.
Yes, exactly. That's why we couldn't, especially what was a horrific case of AIDS.
Hang on. Jeff Skiers has the Wikipedia. John Curtis Holmes, better known as John C. Holmes or Johnny Wad.
Very fitting name.
American
Fitting name.
Pornographic film actor. He ranks among the most prolific adult film performers with documented credits for at least 573 films.
That's still less saves than Mariano Rivera has, by the way.
John's lived a very fulfilling life in that case.
That is true.
Lived.
Hung like a stallion, Sperone says. Yeah, Johnny, he's known for having like a gigantic.
All right, good.
Like
family show. Well, this is life tackling issues, man. The fact that you didn't know, I mean,
it is.
Like, these are.
Now I know.
It's like Godzilla,
and Ron Jeremy has a gut and whatnot. So like he kind of like, he got lucky.
But they got more ass than rental cars. I mean, it's stupid.
That's not the point.
They got paid for it. Like, how? Come on, man. Like, that's the life, right?
Hit that strike gimmick on your thing there, Rob.
Oh,
yeah, my God. That was what they played
You're on
at John
fire
Holmes
tonight.
That's what they played at John Holmes' funeral, by the way. They played that as they were burying him.
I wonder if him and Wilt compared numbers. You know, I mean, they're both in the same generation.
I don't know.
Did they bury him face down? Maybe. So he's like on a kickstand or something like that. Like
if they did, he had to bury like 15 feet floating. Down. So
maybe he was reincarnated as one of those pinwheel hats.
Troy, I love
it. See, Troy's a baseball fan. He gets it.
Don't forget the squirt gun, Peter North. We have a lot.
I know who Peter North is. All right, there's one I do know. I know Peter.
And in Johnny's defense, I wouldn't know the guy by face or anything, or by pecker, really.
Oh, no, absolutely.
I know the name and only the name.
Peter,
because of
the only reason I even
status.
The only reason I even know who Peter North is like my first porno that I had hidden in my drawer. He happened to be in one of the scenes like 22 years ago or 23 years ago, whatever it was. All right, that's enough. That's enough of the porn. That's it. We're getting
Imagine
stupid
how
now.
their bowling balls would be drilled.
We have so many legends in the chat. And we're talking about well-hung porn stars from the 80s.
Well, we don't have a list of the poorly hung porn stars, so I mean,
this show is unfettered.
Matter of fact, we should do that. We'd be the first show to ever do the lousy hung porn stars. I think I'm on that list. Shoot.
So we start out wanting to watch a match of the week, and then we end up talking about.
Should have just put on the John Holmes documentary.
We talked a little bit about everything tonight. Shit, we talked about weightlifting, nutrition. We talked about bowling ball generator. Today was a great show for anybody that's just getting here or missed most of the show. There's a lot of good information on this show today, and
some of the best shows we do are just random shit that things don't go all the way they should, and we just come up with.
Everything goes the way it should.
Always.
We're professionals, man.
We are pros, but we have pretty good chemistry. I'll say that
for sure.
There's a very, very long message again. Apparently, we have a fan from India or somewhere around.
This podcast reaches all over the world. Baba.
It really does. No, it really does. This show has jumped the shark. That's a saying you don't hear anymore.
Evil Knievel legit did try to jump a shark in I think it was 1978, and he missed the jump, and they still did the Wide World of Sports episode, and I think bowling may have was on before it, and they showed the whole thing, and then at the end, Evil Knievel had broken his arm about 2 hours prior doing a practice jump. They had all the stunts on for the first hour, and then Evil Knievel was going to be on, and he jumped this shark and missed the landing ramp and hit a cameraman and mashed the guy's eye up pretty good. I mean, the guy had to have surgery. Evil Knievel broke his arm. So they did the whole show, and they're like, by the way, Evil Knievel's not here, and he's not going to jump the shark. So then Fonzie had to then do it via Happy Days. And boy, was that a riveting episode. Much better than the Malachi Crunch episode with the Malachi brothers and Pinky Tuscadero.
Okay, I'll take your word for
it.
Great ending. What's my Twitter?
I don't know. He knows literally.
Everything.
I thought I was a sponge, but he's a sponge with everything.
I don't know bowling balls.
You could tell me the 52 players on the 1971 Dallas Cowboys if I asked you. You're a fucking lunatic. You could tell me the name of the training staff.
No, not the 71 Cowboy. Bob Lilly, obviously. But
no, not obviously. That's the point. It's not obvious.
Right. It's not to anybody, really. Not even Cowboys fans. But yet he didn't know who Johnny Petraglia Jr. was.
I saw a great thing on TikTok.
People go check out an old show because it's not a knock on him. I didn't know bowling, just FYI. And now we're super tight and I'm their life coach. Talk about TikTok, JP.
No, I was gonna say, because you mentioned the Cowboys, I saw a weatherman. He's showing the weekly forecast, and he goes, he says, well, the forecast this week is looking a little bit like the Dallas Cowboys, peaking in the mid-90s, and for pretty much the rest of the week. I found it to be hysterical.
That's accurate. That's
what. Yeah, I know. It's great.
When humor is truthful, it makes it more funny.
Chuck Ritchie says, fun fact, the cast of Happy Days said Pinky stunk like shit because of the leather she wore.
No, Pinky didn't wear leather. Leather Tuscadero wore the leather. Pinky wore the Pinky gimmick, remember? Pinky was the hotter chick. Leather was the sister. She used to do the whole slapping the gun. Leather Tuscadero. Pinky's the one who got Malachi crunched by Joe Mantegna, was actually one of the Malachi brothers. Fun fact, actor Joe Mantegna of Airheads and some
Criminal
movies.
Minds.
Oh,
Baby's
that guy
Day
too.
Out.
There's one thing Ricky brought up earlier, which I'm sorry
this is great too, because I remember to stand like a little statue. I remember him saying that, and then he yells at him, "A lot of class, you dumb fuck." I don't think
That's
that part.
Two different guys. So the first kid that he says sit still like a little statue. That
right
was a little
before and
kid.
after the same shot, right?
Before
and after
the statue he struck. When he says like a statue, he throws that strike. That was a kid down sitting on the side of the lane.
And remember, this is arena style too. And for his tour card, I think, right? Like
for his exemption, if he wins, he's exempt, and he was not exempt, and has been a announcer ever since, which has been a great career for him. But prior to the last shot, there was somebody up in the rafters in the nosebleed section of the Mohegan Sun Arena to the right of lane 4,
and he's saying, "I see you, I see you."
And he says it was a kid in a yellow shirt. We never heard anything. We never got a clip. Randy was in an extremely emotional state of mind at that point. Who knows what he heard? But so no, apparently he pointed at a kid in a yellow shirt up in like the upper tier of the arena. That's all we know.
Gotcha.
So then what happened? Oh, that was the lot of class, pal.
He left a swish and 7-pin because he felt that he missed his target by about a board at the break point. It was a 50-foot oil pattern.
It was a good. I think it was a weak.
Good shot.
A weak hit, right? But it was a good mixer.
It was like the shot where you would saw the 5-pin over it, and the 5 would take out the 7, but it went in front of it. That's there. There you go. It was John Sperone.
Oh, that could have been.
I don't know who JJ Veach is. Is that a friend of Jonathan Holmes or?
He doesn't go by Jonathan.
John Holmes, the Wad.
The Wad.
we call him Dr. Wad, actually.
All right, on that note, that wraps up another fun-filled edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Can you apologize to CBD after this and say, like, hey, by the way?
CBD. CDB.
Oh, CBD oil. Oh, right. CDB. Shit. All right, my bad.
Ocho, what's your Twitter handle?
I don't know. I don't even know freaking letters in a row.
At the DR Ocho, at JPJR07, and at RadRob Gaming.
Those here on Johnny's Facebook page, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that. Just search Straight Up 5 Podcast and
start
watch our videos. We have all of these live shows in our archives, as well as the interview with Johnny's dad, Johnny Sr., which was so badass.
It was well, explain it, Rob. It was a watch along of his 300 too. His mindset.
Was a watch along of his 300 on ABC,
and his mindset. Good job. Just doing.
And he gives the very reason what he was thinking in that 10th frame of, and it's just something that nobody ever would have known.
It was like Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy. Only it was some serious, awesome shit.
Love Deep Thoughts.
Deep Thoughts.
We're not getting sidetracked. We're ending the show, people.
We are ending the show, but please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And those that maybe want to listen to us on the go and can't watch it while they're driving or have a long drive to work or on the treadmill like Sperone, listen to our podcast. Straight Up 5 is available where? Oh, Joe, where can you find our podcast?
Everywhere. In my skimmer. A podcast was in my skimmer as I was vacuuming the pool the other day. In my damn skimmer.
That's true.
Good save.
Definitely true. Yes, Jeff, our show does stream live on
much
YouTube
like Mariano
as well. But you can find Straight Up 5 on any podcast outlet.
So
any of your
with Billy
favorite
Crystal and Lindy and I can't remember the guy's name. He was in Meatballs too. No, Billy Crystal was in it. Soap was a good show.
City Slickers.
Soap was a good show, actually. Troy.
What the hell was the guy? Oh my God, he was in the movie with Dudley Moore. Oh my God, I can't remember his name.
Arthur. Oh, I love
it. Was in that movie. Yeah. What was the guy's name? And he was in Meatballs too.
Which guy in Arthur?
Not Dudley Moore.
Like
you mean Hobson?
I want to call him. He looks like Lindy Infante, the ex fucking Packers coach, but he's
not.
What the fuck does that even mean?
I don't know. I'm going though. I got to go to the gym. It was a great show.
We got to go, guys. We love everybody. Thank you for being here, guys.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thank everybody.
We'll see you. Good night.